Hi friends, I'm fixing to put up my recipe for y'all to copy down or to screenshot it, whichever you choose. And remember, my recipes are always down in my information box below my videos. Okay, let's add 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast to half of your water with 1 teaspoon of sugar, and let our yeast do its thing. Okay, well, our yeast has done its thing, and it's kind of pooped up over the side there, but that's okay. We're going to put it all in there. I got away from it and let it sit a little bit longer than what I intended to. But it done a good job. It's ready to go now. We're just going to get it all in our bowl. I've had this yeast in my refrigerator in my quart jar back there. I've had it in my refrigerator in the side door for about a year, and the yeast is still doing good. So that right there shows you that keeping your yeast in the refrigerator does keep it for a long time. Okay, we're going to get that off my spoon. You can also keep it in the freezer too. I'm going to put the rest of our water. Now we started out with 1 2/3 cups of water, but we done used half of it with our yeast. So we poured the rest of it in the bowl. We're going to put a pretty good tablespoon of runny honey. And if you end up getting a little bit more in there than a tablespoon, it's not going to hurt anything. It's just going to make it that much better. And I've got 1 1/2 tablespoons of room temperature butter. We're going to go ahead and put our flour. Now I've got 4 1/2 cups of bread flour, but you can use all-purpose flour. Now I'm only going to use 4 cups. That's what I'm going to put in here right now. And I'm going to let it mix. And after it mixes and after it kneads for a while, then I'll look at my dough and see if it needs that other 1/2 cup. If it doesn't need that 1/2 cup, I'm not going to use it because I want a soft dough. I don't want a really stiff dough. Today my house is really dry and really hot, so I may not need that other 1/2 cup. So we're going to mix our dough. We're going to let it mix up really good. Then I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to let it knead. I'm going to go ahead and put my teaspoon of salt. We're going to let it knead for about 6 minutes. And after 6 minutes, I'll shut it off and I'll fill my dough and see if I need that other 1/2 cup of flour. Our dough has kneaded for 6 minutes. I'm just going to put a little bit of olive oil in my bread bowl. Get this dough off my dough hooks, and you can see the texture of the dough. It's not too sticky, but yet it's not real stiff. I didn't need that other 1/2 cup of flour. My house is really dry and warm today because of the wood heat. So I'm just going to roll my dough around in my bread bowl and get that olive oil. Coat that dough with that olive oil. And then I'm just going to cover it up. And I'm going to put it in a warm, draft-free area and let it rise for about an hour. And then we're going to come back and we'll make our hamburger buns. Wood cook stove, a good place to proof your bread and keep your bacon warm. Has a lot of dual purposes. Okay, my dough rose to about half, about double. to about a little over half my bread bowl, so it doubled in size. I'm just going to knead it just a little bit, not a whole lot. Just knead it here inside my bowl. Now let's talk about my bun pan here. This is going to be the first time I use it. I'm not real sure about it. I'm going to pinch me off what I think will be enough to fill my little bun pan here. I'm not sure how much I'm supposed to be in there. Anybody else use these? Y'all probably yelling at me, telling me how much dough I need to put in here, and that may be too much. I think I'll put just a little bit less than this one. This is a perfect size to make smaller buns for kids. Maybe if you're making sliders, if you're making English muffins especially. I think I'm going to take just a little bit off this one, make it just a little bit smaller. And this does have a Pullman lid for it. I don't know how I feel about that either. I don't know if I want to put it on or just leave it off, because I do like the top of my hamburger buns to be kind of poofy and rounded. But I think I will probably use it. So I'm just pinching off. You don't want to put too much. You don't want to fill the hole up, because it's going to rise and it's going to just go over and be too much. So I'm just putting just enough in there to leave enough space for it to fill the hole. Now y'all, my house is very warm today, and it may not take long for these buns to rise a little bit. So I'm really going to have to watch them, especially if I want to put the lid on it. I'm not sure that I am. So this is non-stick, but I did spray it. But I'm going to get me a little bit of plastic wrap. Now, if you're going to use the lid, which you see there, I'll show it to you when I get back. I sprayed the top of that lid. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get me some plastic wrap. Like I said, I don't know how I feel about the lid. But anyways, I'm going to take me some olive oil spray, and I'm going to spray the top of my plastic wrap. And I'll flip it over and I'll put the sprayed side on my top of my dough. And then I'm just going to put this in a warm place away from the draft, and I'm going to check on it here in about 10 minutes, because I really don't want it to rise too much, y'all. I'm real bad about that. I'm going to kind of push them down. Now, I know you're supposed to put the lid on right now, but like I said, I'm not sure that I want to use my lid. So we'll see. Anyways, this is my first time, so the second time I use it, I may do something different. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes, and I don't want these to rise any more than they are. So I'm going to take my plastic wrap off. Now, this is the Pullman lid, and I want you to watch when I try to put it on there. See, because I didn't put it on to begin with. Some of them's just a little bit high, but I just don't want mine that flat. So I sprayed that. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to set it on there, just like that. Just going to set it on top. I'm not going to just, that way if it does rise a little bit, it'll go ahead and rise. I really don't want them just flat. My buns are in my oven, 350 oven, and this is the rest of our dough that was left. And we're going to make us some flatbread. And what I've done is I just kind of spread it out a little bit here on my sheet pan, kind of making little dents in it. This makes the best flatbread because it comes out, the bottom's crispy, the middle is tender, and so good. Now I've got me a little bit of butter here, and we're just going to spread butter all over the top of this flatbread. This is the best stuff. Mr. Brown absolutely loves this flatbread. He loves to eat it by itself, or especially if he has some marinara sauce, he can dip it in, or if he's got a big plate of spaghetti. I've got some everything bagel seasoning here, And we are going to load the top of this up. And sometimes some seeds don't want to come out of them holes very good, so you really have to shake it really hard. But I do. I cover the top up with it. If you've never ate everything bagel seasoning, you are missing out. I put this on all kinds of breads. You can put this on chicken breast. It's got sesame seeds, poppy seeds, garlic, onion powder. I don't know what all in it, but it is the best stuff. So just cover your flatbread with your butter and your everything bagel seasoning. And I've got some of my homegrown herbs here. This is my Italian blend. It's got rosemary and thyme. It's got oregano and basil in it. Y'all seen me do a video where I took my homegrown herbs and how I put them up and how I grind them up and make my own seasonings. So when our buns come out, and it's not going to take them long to cook, we'll put our flatbread in there. And we'll have us some yummy, yummy hamburger buns, some yummy flatbread. We'll see how our buns turn out. I want y'all to see up close how pretty. See all that seasoning on there? It's going to be so good. Our buns are out of the oven, and they cooled off. I cut them in half because I wanted y'all to see the middle of them. These turned out okay. And I think they're a great size for the grandkids. I think that mold will make perfect English muffins. And I will do this again with buns. But as far as for me and Mr. Brown, I'll probably just do it the old way, where I just make my buns and place them on a cookie sheet and make them the size I like them, and they turn out good every time. But I just wanted to use this mold just to see what it's like. And they did. They turned out okay. Now, this is the king of all kings right here. Me and Mr. Brown love this flatbread, and I think you're going to love it too. So let's cut us a piece. Let's taste it. It took about 15 minutes on 350. You can see the bottom how crispy the bread is. Don't that look good? We're going to taste it. It's so good. Y'all have to try this recipe. It's just my plain old go-to white bread, sandwich bread recipe. And it makes delicious hamburger buns, hot dog buns, kosher bread, just whatever you need to make out of it. It's just an all-around good dough. So, if you want to, I'm going to put the link down below to a couple of my bread recipes when I made my hamburger buns, not using the hamburger bun mold, and how I done it then. Now, I haven't done one on hot dog buns yet, and I need to do that because people have been asking me about that. So next time I make a bunch of this bread up, we'll do some hot dog buns. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see y'all in a couple of days. We love y'all. God bless.